What's going on, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal week so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Gemini. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy higher self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Cause it's your General Energy Weekly Spread. Moving on. Because Gemini, I had a lot of thoughts about that. But Gemini, with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Gemini. So I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if you were curious, these decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Gemini. But also down in the description box are some links for some other readers that I like watching, so definitely give them a check out, Gemini. Great group of people that I like watching, so hopefully you'll like them as well. But let's get to your first card here. Oh, and I'm with it, Gemini. We're getting Zen. We're going within. I'm with it. You got the fourth card of Libras here, which is the Yoga card. All right, let's get that. No, never mind. So this is the card of contemplation, deep breath, centered, go within, steady, balanced, relax, take a break, inner child healing, meditate, time alone, balance chakras, reflection, wellness, and rest. And I really like this card, Gemini, because this is one of really just like finding center again. Especially, I feel like with how active your mind can be being Mercury ruled, depending on where you have Gemini placements, it can be a lot that you can process at any given time. And sometimes it's nice to find those moments where you can get centered, you know, where you can kind of, not necessarily quiet the mind, but get used to how the flow of your thoughts come into play, Gemini. See what things have been on your mind as of late, you know, being such an intellectual sign. And I find that, like, and not that this is like the go-to all the, you know, thing to do, but I feel like people with like mercurial placements, whether that be Gemini or Virgo, and it doesn't matter, I have a Gemini moon, I find that, and this was come to work for me, it's just like some, you know, doing some journaling, you know, just really kind of having a space to just really and it doesn't matter just whatever's on your mind, Gemini, just let it rip, you know, just like really just kind of write down until you feel like you've gotten enough out. I write about 3 pages, and so, you know, just anything. And this, it doesn't have to be just that, Gemini. This could be maybe going for a walk, you know, maybe you find more calm and more peace with your thoughts, doing some yoga, some meditation, but just finding, you know, just a balance in between. Just if we've noticed that, you know, maybe we've been in kind of like a hectic place, or just like maybe there's been a lot of stuff with work that's going down, however that may be looking. But for some others, you know, and this has been a lot of energy I've noticed that's been coming up with the signs as of late. There's this emphasis on like this inner child healing, you know, getting down to the roots of maybe some like ingrained issues that may have kind of rooted themselves in you there, Gemini, and it's almost become like maybe like a, I don't want to say it's become like a maxim of ours, but it's just like, you know, like something we live by, but it's just like it's become so routine that I feel like that's some time alone, you know, just finding just some space in between. Like let's get some tarot on this, Gemini, get a little more details. Let's see what's going on with that. And maybe if this is not something we've been doing necessarily some inner child healing, maybe we've just been doing just some general healing in general, or so general heal, just healed, Gemini. If we just been doing some just overall healing, make sure that we're being mindful of how we're pushing ourselves, taking some time to relax, because I get where, believe me, especially where, let's say, for example, like you got something where you like injured your leg or something, it's just something random like that, Gemini, and you can't, let's say, do your yoga or do your workout. That drives me up the wall. It's one of those things where, I get where we want to push like we used to, but it's something that we have to remember too, that sometimes you can't get to that 100% when you just got it done with an injury, for example. But yeah, let's get some more of us. Let's get that tear. I'm about to go into the story already. But absolutely Seven of Swords. Let's see what else we got here, Gemini. All right, Princess, I love her. And got some healing maybe here, Gemini, because you got the Princess of Disc, the Knight of Cups, the Star, the Universe, and the Seven of Swords here. Interesting, Gemini. So for some, with the Seven of Swords here, this is my card of, one of the things about this card is futility. And I feel like it's one of those things that with this, it's futile to push ourselves when we don't have the gas in the tank, Gemini. If you've been kind of running on E here, you've been really just kind of cranking here, haven't taken some time to relax. It's not to say that I don't feel like you can't handle a bunch, Gemini, but it's like when you think about you as this big sword here, all these other little swords by themselves can't hold a candle to you. But if we try to take on too much at once and we're not getting enough time to kind of declutter the space, and do some healing, but even like, I almost feel like even like how the Princess of Disc is doing it. I don't know if you can tell how she's feeding her energy through this scepter here, and it's like lighting up this grove. That's like, it's almost like she's creating this safe space for herself. Because she's pregnant, and there's a lot of pregnancy on here going on there, Gemini. So just a little sidebar here. If we're thinking about babies, this may be the time to think about it. But I do feel like that if we haven't. Oh, a couple of things actually with that, Gemini. If we're thinking about babies, absolutely. If the energy feels like this could be something. If not, let's be mindful. But if we are, maybe pregnant right now, and if we do find ourselves, not necessarily pushing ourselves too hard, but maybe we're trying, just being mindful of just like taking a break. I get wanting to I'm all for keeping the energy moving, but not like trying not to, again, finding some balance here, but. I do feel with this energy as well, like back to the Princess of Disc, it's like, again, just creating a space for you to just kind of like creating really like a zen space for you, Gemini. Just if we've just been having a lot of stuff that we've been maybe dealing with as of late, maybe we've been feeling kind of stuck in a cycle here with the universe. That's the Saturn energy. We've been feeling restricted some way, maybe under some type of challenges or things, and maybe this is something that's been kind of waning down on you emotionally, really been kind of asking you to come to your test your strength here, in which you probably are feeling in a little bit more of an emotional place now, Gemini, and probably will be up until about the 10th of June, or excuse me, of July, because your ruler, Mercury, just entered into Cancer, depending on when you're watching this, a couple of days ago. And it's going to be, but the nice thing, because the Knight of Cups, this is the King of Cups. And this is kind of the archetype that we're in right now, Gemini. It's finding that head and heart balance and bringing those two together. And I do feel like this energy could be one for you too, again, to just really kind of deal with maybe some like maybe repressed things that we've been keeping pushed down, or just finding like, just again, like how she's pouring her energy into this grove, like finding maybe just a healthy outlet to just like channel this some type of repressed energy. Maybe it's through art, because Cancer is very creative energy, very the depths that we can feel. My sun signs in Cancer, and the depths that we can feel is something that you can really utilize this to your advantage. Maybe write some stuff down, Gemini. Maybe write a book, or maybe write some poetry, or yours is a very Mercury's very much about tactile senses. Working with hands and stuff. Maybe we're I don't know, maybe working with gadgets, or fixing cars, or maybe building apps, or building a computer. I don't know what you do for your downtime, Gemini, but whatever it is. Yeah, just finding some ways to go within and really do some, because there's a lot of healing, kind of nurturing energy that's kind of coming through here, and it feels like that there's where I don't feel that there's probably still some challenges, maybe just with the universe being here. Maybe some things that we're trying to bring to a close. Just remember that we it's it's hard for us to bring balance when we're not in balance, Gemini. I like that. Nice little start here, a little TLC. That's how we do it. Let's get another oracle on the mix. Let's see what else we got here, Gemini. Interesting. All right. We got your opposite sign of the zodiac wheel. 6th card of Sagittarius, which is the Castle card. And with this card, this is a card of pride, recognition, position, praise for achievements, ego, wealth, ancestry, antiquity, history, legacy, architecture, power, prestige, isolation, the old guard, and timeless. And a lot of the stuff that really kind of stuck out here, Gemini. When I think about this card, this is very kind of Ten of Pentacles energy when we're thinking about our legacy, thinking about that foundation and stuff. And it feels like that maybe we've been in this state of, because the ego kind of popped up, me, and the pride and the power kind of stuck out, but more so in the sense of like, it feels like that maybe there's some sort of like internal power struggle that's going down right now. Maybe we're like wrestling with some, like, it feels deeper, because Sagittarius is a very spiritual energy. They're ruled by Jupiter, and considering where your Gemini placement, or depending on where your Gemini placements are at, Pluto getting into Aquarius gave those of you in like the early in the early stages in that like 0 degree of Gemini, you got a little flavor of that, of what Pluto's going to get ready to bring over the next 20 years. And it's even with the beneficial energy that you're going to be getting, Gemini, because that's forming a trine with your sign, and trines are dopest. But Pluto is the weirdest in the sense of how he goes about bringing about change and reformation. It's intense. And that one of the energies that Pluto deals with is power, and authority. And this could be, again, maybe there's some kind of history that's going down with that. Maybe there's like an ancestry thing or something, but it feels like that there's this need of maybe doing some type of hermit work here, of kind of just, and again, like, as it makes sense. I don't feel like it's something we, not forcing this thing, but I do feel like that there's some energy that's wanting to breathe. And so maybe we've been trying to exercise this power over something, kind of keep something suppressed, maybe something controlled, and that gets into a weird place when we start doing that, especially if this is talking about maybe some like emotions or things that we're dealing with, because especially with your sign being in, Cancer, but probably the most emotional sign of the zodiac, if we try to control those things, they manifest in weird ways, Gemini. Take it from me. But when we make those sides of us allies, really kind of learn to appreciate maybe those darker emotions, and again, as it makes sense. But let me get some tarot on this, Gemini, because I hope that makes sense. But let me get a little tarot on that. got here, Gemini? Interesting. Okay, so you got the Nine of Wands, and then you have the Hanged Man here. And with the Hanged Man, this is Neptune energy. And the Hanged Man is a card of sacrifice, and could be a card of a perspective change. And this energy kind of feels like that maybe we've been, this is more Sag energy here, this the Nine of Wands, this is the Moon in Sagittarius. And maybe we've been in this place where it's been like we've been kind of pushing, been kind of like cranking, been kind of just operating in this same type of, because this whatever this energy is, it feels like old energy. And I don't mean like it's just something that's been would be a long time for you, Gemini. And it seems that whatever this thing has become ingrained has gotten to this place where we've, because the Hanged Man for me is kind of like we got into like a Knight of Wands state where it's just like he's got all in this deck, he's like the fiery part of fire, he's got a lot of heat, but if that energy is going, if it's being misdirected in a sense of like, you know, there's something like we're not, if we're avoiding things or something along those lines that's going on here, Gemini, it leads to that burnout. It leads to this place where kind of like higher self is just like, okay, hold on, how we're operating here is not working. We need to put a roadblock here. We're just trying to slow you down so that we can really consider what's going down here. What aspect of life has really been kind of chipping at this sword here, Gemini. And it's almost like asking, you know, how much do we want to sacrifice of our security, of our legacy, you know? And then listen, I don't feel like it's like we're losing our, like everything that we have, Gemini, but it's more so just along the lines of what are we willing to give to keep going at this same pace if this is not being for your detriment, because this doesn't feel like your normal type of like we're working towards a goal or anything. This is something that is like it feels like an energy that we're trying to outrun or something along those lines, Gemini. And I feel like that it's getting to this place of let me get a little bit more on this Hanged Man here. It feels like something's hidden, Gemini, because, you know, Neptune deals with, you know, hidden things, deals with illusions, mysteries. And the interesting thing, Gemini, with the Knight of Cups, on an unbalanced end, he's one that if he's not feeling good, then he will avoid an issue. He will indulge in Neptune-like behaviors where we get into like the escapisms. You know, Neptune deals with the drug realms, and, you know, it's... But it's more so really that hidden aspect of Neptune that's the most mysterious. You know, it's... Let me see what these cards are. All this Sagittarius energy here. You got the art cards, Sag. You got the Queen of Disc, and then we have the Three of Disc here. And I feel like that this is, you know, however we've been operating, Gemini, whatever this energy is, it feels like that maybe we've been either trying to, because Capricorn, they're the opposite sign of Cancer, and Capricorn has a great where they're the achievers of the zodiac. You know, Queen of Disc here, because that's Capricorn energy too. You know, Queen of Disc, you know, Capricorn, they do what it will. They do what's necessary to get things done. But when it comes to, you know, dealing with emotions and things, Capricorns feel on a deep level, but sometimes they like where Cancers are aware of our emotions and things. It's like this is what Capricorn can learn from us, you know, how to process the emotions, you know. But it feels like that this is something where it's almost like we're trying to, again, like distract ourselves maybe with like projects here with like the Queen of Wands. It's like she's focusing on this empty field as opposed to focusing on her empty field, you know what I mean? It feels very interesting here. And there's, you know, just considering we got this going within and all this kind of spiritual energy going down, Neptune and now, oh, that's interesting too. Thank you. That's it's very interesting too because both Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, and Neptune's been forming, squares with your placements, Gemini, for the last about 12, 14 years, depending on where they fall. And Saturn's just getting started. He's getting ready to retrograde back to the beginning. Because so for those of you who have like I think it's like 0 to the 7th degree, he's gonna feel that he was just like checking on us and then checking back on us again. It's very it's going to be an interesting time. That's forming like squared situations with your sign, Gemini, putting you again under like conflicts and difficulties, challenges, delays, things along those lines. So we might be experiencing some stuff over these next few years. But I feel like that despite the stuff that's going on, you are what you make of these situations. I feel with the art card, we can take these signals here, these lessons that we're getting from maybe doing meditation or however we get Zen, and using that stuff to grow, to manifest healing here, so that because this almost feels like that we keep trying to maybe manifest this field out here, but the reason it keeps barren, Gemini, is that maybe again it's just like the outside is reflecting the inside. You know what I mean? Very interesting. Let me get a little more on this Queen of Disc here. Interesting. All right, the Queen of Disc is clarified by the Queen of Wands here. And it feels like that with the Queen of Wands, it's like this energy here again of just like needing to find that like cool, calm, balanced state. But I feel like in this instance is making sure that is really cool and calm, because it's one thing to say that we're doing all right, everything's fine, but then everything's on fire down here. You know what I mean? And it doesn't... Very interesting energy, Gemini. Alright, but yeah, hopefully that made sense there. I do feel like that there's definitely a need for, I think, for just for slowing down a little bit and just a little pause and just kind of just learning more about whatever the roots of this stuff is here. But let's get some tea and let's get your last cards. Alright, Gemini. Last card here. You got the 9th card of Aries, which is the Shield card. And with this card, this is a card of defensive, protect, support, safeguard, block, guardian, stand up for, being prepared, heroic, stronghold, security, ward off unwanted energies, be on guard, and withstand. And the energies here, Gemini, that really kind of stuck out are the protect and the safeguard and the warding off of unwanted energies. And this does feel like that there's, again, I just feel like that there's a need for like maybe like a space to just like really recharge your energies, to recharge your just... Because, I mean, you're the communicators of the Zodiac. I imagine that if you happen to be out maybe socializing and things, or even if we're not, this can be maybe even on social media or something, but just again with how active your minds are, how curious your energies can be, it's a lot to take on. And I feel that it's just that there's a need for... I just feel like creating some sort of space here that you can... really kind of process this energy. Or maybe this is something too, maybe for some others, maybe we might be creating a space for someone. This could be where maybe we're helping someone out, or maybe we're dealing with, we're trying to help someone try to find their space. Or very interesting energy here, Gemini. But I do feel like if you were resonating with any of this, it's, I feel like it's just like a Zen place. Let me get some tarot on this. Let's see what we got here, Gemini. Oh. Alright, Gemini. So we have the Princess of Wands, the Ten of Discs, and then we have the Two of Cups. And with this Two of Cups, it does feel like that the Two of Cups is very nurturing energy. This is Venus in Cancer. And I feel like that there's this need, Gemini, of really kind of just connecting with yourself, filling up your cup before we filling up other people's cups, just, and not to say that it's, because maybe for some maybe we tend to overgive, be excited to kind of help and it almost feels like that we're in this energy of like, again, kind of like quick to maybe more enthusiastic about helping others kind of get their stability than at first making sure that your cups are being filled, Gemini, with this Ten of Disc here, because this is what's this, Mercury in, yeah, this is Mercury in Virgo. And especially since you got both these cards now, there feels like if there's something that's not feeling imbalanced, or if we've been neglecting our stability, whatever that's looking like, maybe it's been health, maybe it's been our mental, like our physical health, maybe our mental health, maybe our spiritual health, whatever that is, it feels like that there's a need to make you more of the routine here, kind of find a. Let me get something on, look at a little extra on this ten of Disc here. Huh, love it. There's Mercury in Cancer. So Gemini, the energies, the Ten of Disc is clarified by the Nine of Disc, the Death card, and the Three of Cups here. All right, let's switch back over. Because yeah, Gemini, it feels like that maybe the way we've been going about something for a while. I feel like there's, just with the Nine of Pentacles and the Death card being here, I feel like that there is a need for a change for something. If you notice that the way we've been maybe operating or something hasn't been balanced, because again, Mercury in Cancer is a really great blend, I feel like, of head and heart. It's very King of Cups, like all day. And maybe for some we've been thinking about more of the kind of maybe the practical kind of standpoint, or like the more kind of physical material senses of security. And maybe this is a great energy for you here, and I really do feel like this for you, Gemini. Great energy to get that emotional stability as well if we're feeling any sort of like and again, this could be maybe we're doing just some self-care things for ourselves, or let me get one more on the Nine of Pentacles here. Interesting. Okay, so the Nine of Pentacles is clarified by the Nine of Disc is clarified by the Seven of Disc. And I feel like that the way that, again, that we've been going about something hasn't, it's just like look at how we've been investing our energies up until this point, Gemini. It just feels that there's a need for a change, or a need of maybe a certain way we've operated has not been working. I think I'm going to get out of that, Gemini, but I hope that makes sense. I'm having troubles finding the words here when I'm recording this. The moon's in Scorpio, and I tell you what, it's been trying to get down to something. I'm going to leave that there, Gemini, but if anything made sense, or if anything resonated with you, Gemini, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know someone maybe who's just in need of maybe just needed to relax, or kind of go within, or maybe we've been thinking about this legacy stuff, and maybe it's been like how things may fail. Maybe we're just like Just questioning our investments, or however we've been investing in in things here as of late. But share this, Gemini. And if you haven't already, I'm about to get back into your reading. If you haven't, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified around these videos each week. And then if we need some little help with this meditation, I'm on this meditation app Insight Timer, and I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group that posts positive affirmations, encouraging messages, things along those lines. And then definitely as the group grows, I want to be able to, or I can post different meditation blocks, different like maybe musics and things like in between, like we can all meditate together, just kind of just get zen and bliss out for a little bit. Wouldn't that be fun? But definitely check that out, Gemini. And then lastly, I don't think you got any. Well, you got the 3 cups and the 2 cups here, so you got a little bit of Cancerian energy. But if you have any Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, I'm on over to my other channel, the Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. All right, started off with Libra. Now we're ending off with Libra. You got the adjustment card here, Gemini. And before I'm gonna get your oracle card here in a second, but with the adjustment card, this she's a great example, I feel like, of balance. No matter what she's doing, it's the scales. If one thing is tipped, then the counter shoots. There's always it feels like that maybe we've been kind of struggling. There's maybe with maybe trying to keep either this foundation solid, or it just seems like as soon as we do one thing, another thing kind of like pops off, and then like another. It's like it seems like there's been in this state of constantly always balancing something. That there's always something up in the air, and there hasn't had a chance of like rest, Gemini. It's very, very interesting energy here. Let me get your oracle card. All right, Gemini. Your oracle card. You got the water card in reverse. And this energy, this embodies Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energy. All the water signs. And water is emotional. Water deals with the depths of things. And I know, being an air sign, it's not that air signs don't understand emotion, but if you have a lot of strong water placements, or a lot of water placements in general, it can be tricky. And even sometimes when you do, I know quite a few air signs, and it's hard making that connection, I feel like, sometimes, because I feel like we've been in a place where emotions have been suppressed, and it's trying to bring that balance back. But now that it's there, I feel like that the space is being made for them. It's so much that the energies are still trying to get to this nice place of equilibrium here. But I feel like whatever's going down here, Gemini, to keep your emotions in mind, because they do. If they weren't important, then water wouldn't be an element. It's keeping all the elements in balance, and in finding that. That's the whole point of this journey. Getting as close as we can to this legacy. You got 10 of Pentacles. Where do 10 of Pentacles go? Getting us. We may never get to that mission or get to that goal, but we're sure as hell gonna try there, Gemini. But we gotta play with all the tools that we're working with here. So interesting. But I think I'm gonna leave that there, Gemini. So you stay safe out there. All these thoughts, and maybe we're thinking about buying some kind of real estate, possibly. That's another little thing. So make sure we're reading the fine print here. Justice can also deal with like law and things along those lines. So maybe we're getting into some some important documents, maybe even some will stuff. Maybe we're coming into a bit of wealth or something along those lines. But, you know, be mindful of that. You know, make sure we're processing all these things that are going down. And raise your vibration to the roof. Raise to Mercury. Let them know that you're thinking about these feelings right now. That we are taking the time to make that connection. And I will catch you on the next one later.